Hello reviewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're going to talk about some unique things in CES 2026. So let's dive deep into it. Now, first thing you have to understand, there is a very good chance that this is a bit late for you and your feed has been saturated by CES coverage. Question is why? Well, it's an ancient system. As in, Consumer Electronics Show started in 1967. It's old and it's one of, if not the largest expo in the world, specifically regarding consumer electronics. So it's not big, it's the big thing, so to say. Now there are other expo also. For example, I'm going to expo Chemtech Expo in Mumbai, and again that happens every 2 years. So that's also a pretty huge expo. But again, there are other industrial expo, agricultural expo, things of that nature, but these are generally not done annually and generally not as big as this. Some are, but most of them are not as big. So this is huge, and be mindful, it has a history of launching cool new product, so it becomes its own supporter, so to say. For example, VCR, where do you think it was launched? 1970 CES. CD players, 1981 basically CES. HD TV, 1998. So it's what you call very important milestone. Even if it's boring, people will still spend money to go there. So it is there. And here's the deal, how much exhibition space we are talking, like how many people, companies and parties are there. Yeah, you're looking at like just after pandemic, when it was cooled down, you're still looking at 4,000, and at peak it can easily go to 5,000. So 4 to 5,000 exhibitors per year. That's a big number. Like, you might have, like, some staying companies. Let's just say top 100 companies will always be there. Okay, remove that. What about that? Still you have thousands left, and generally it's a very good launch pad for startups. I used to remember a company, MakerBot, if I'm not mistaken. There was a 3D printer company, and they worked for 10 years. Like, it was very long ago, before Ender and all that. So they started with a small booth, and then they became, like, they're taking whole space, like the flagship kind of thing. And then they disappeared. So it happens. It's like a lot of startup company goes there, and if they get a lot of attention, they grow. And generally you are looking at least 1,000 startups at least annually. So it's normal for them to, like, launch a startup into some serious success. So even though this is expensive, people will pay money and go there. And thankfully it does happen in one place, Las Vegas, Nevada, United States of America. So planning is rather simple, so to say. So there are a lot of concepts. The few concepts that I liked is ASUS Zenbook DUO. Now be mindful, this is Mark II product. They launched this last year, but this time it's far more refined. So it is a dual screen system. Basically you have two monitors, not one connected monitor, not folding monitor, two monitors. And these puppies are 14-inch OLEDs. So quite sharp, and 2.8K, so resolution wise they're also comfortable. 120 hertz, so be mindful, OLED has amazing refresh rate, so it's really good. And this is a Mark II product. What does that mean? That simply means you can pay attention there. Like, again, I'm coming from art industry. We start our journey with dual monitor. Like, no artist generally has less than 2 monitors, and most can have 3. I have 3, like this TV and 2 monitors. Now this generally remains off, but 2 monitors. And back in the old days I had 2 Dell monitor, but they were different models, so it was not aligned perfectly. It was like this Mark I product, where the bezels were like, one had larger bezel, one had smaller bezel. It was not perfectly aligned. So yeah, it's one of those things, like you learn that hard way, that if the bezels are not balanced enough, symmetric enough, it hurts for some reason. So next time I upgraded to BenQ monitors, I have 2, both have the exact same model. So this is exactly the same thing. I'm reasonably sure the engineers would have wanted it, but they're like deadlines and all that. So Mark I product did not got it, but by Mark II, they made sure the bezels are much slimmer and perfectly on the same level, meaning it would be less hurtful to utilize it. Meaning your eye can easily glide from one point to another without having the hassle. Like, that shows maturity of, like, design. It's like, hey, we got the core sorted, but we just have to improve the geometry. So that is there. That's the whole point of Mark II device. Displays are strong because there is no flexible stuff. It's hard glass, exactly like how you have in your smartphone. So it's a bit robust, meaning if you have stuff on top of it, it's not gonna go kaput. So strong display is there. Multiple setup option is there. So you have normal laptop, meaning you disable one section of the display, and then you have, like, display only. Then you can have 2 displays and keyboard mouse, and then you can have 2 monitors, keyboard mouse. So now you might be like, isn't this easy? Yes, Doing it is easy. Doing it automatically is brutally hard. If any of you are familiar with multi-monitor setup, you know how hard it is to make sure that you boot up the system and like, oh, this is monitor number 1 physically, it will show as monitor number 2 and this will be monitor number 1. You'll move your mouse, it will like, 2 monitors are there, mouse will not go from here to here. It's like, you go here, it comes from that side. It's a big issue. Like you have to set it up, and every time you're switching this, you could mess it up. So doing it automatically, let that be very clear, doing that is not that difficult. Doing that reliably, where it's like it just works. And be mindful, look into the earliest days of Samsung folding phones. That was in a mobile operating system. It was barely working. So it is difficult. So the time and experience they have put into it and the support from Microsoft is showing through. And the main issue of the last generation was that it's an amazing workstation, like form factor wise. The SoC was not that powerful because again, Intel was not that powerful. This time, Intel is flexing, so 13th GL system. So it is powerful enough where you can do some actual work on this workstation system. This is not a thin and light portable device. This is a workstation that you can carry. You have to think in that way. So you don't be like, okay, this is not as thin as a iPad or a MacBook Air. It's not meant to. It's a workstation. Meaning, if you are like, hey, I do heavy video editing, I would love to have my video playing on the main monitor and the giant timeline on the bottom one, then you go into this. Or if you are like, some sort of developer where it's like, okay, I want the one display on the front and second one would be for my backend. Like let's say you are doing 3D game modeling, you may want like one to be render output, another to be like actual modeling output. So that does make sense. And again, having high enough SoC power actually makes it useful, not just like, oh, I have 2 displays. It's like, yeah, can you use it? So that is there. And they have the maximum legal allowed battery size, which again, it always frustrates me why that is not the standard. Like by law, you cannot put more than 100 watt hour on a plane. Okay, why your laptop battery is smaller than that? Why? And again, I'm genuinely mad. Sometimes the people open up the laptops and it's like there is empty space. It's almost like the company designed a battery for like, let's just say 13-inch laptop, and in 15-inch they are using the same battery. It's like, so at least they have fixed this time. It's like they can't give you more than that. So 99 watt hour is like, okay, cool, awesome. So that is there. Magnetic Bluetooth keypad, again, refinement. The contact pogo pins are far more refined and all that. So it's just polished. What about the cost? Don't ask about it. It's one of those things where it's like, if you have to ask it, you can't afford it kind of deal. So it's not for poor people like me. It's if you have very deep pocket, then look into it. Basically, artists and developers who are like really printing money, only they can risk it. But again, I'm happy this sort of develop because it's far more practical. It's not like gimmicky. It's like actually practical. It's expensive. It's more of like expensive tool, like how Wacoms are. Look into Wacom display tablet prices. This will look logical, but again, if you are an artist, you would pay for it. So that kind of deal is there. Now we come to a small champion who has returned, Pebble. Now, back in the old days when Kickstarter used to be like a new thing, Kickstarter had a lot of OG success. That's why that became a big deal. 2012, this Pebble company was the original OG success. And they made smartwatch a thing. Be mindful, before that people were trying to make smartwatches, but it was never thought of as an augmentation to your smartphone. It was always thought of replacement for your mobile phone long ago. So it was like they were putting everything on top of it. It's like, yeah, it's not practical. Thankfully, Pebble comes into the picture, and the idea was put something that you can sustain, as in battery life, as in the app ecosystem. So the e-paper display allowed it to have battery life that was long enough, and simple ecosystem, because they were not trying to make everything under the sun. They could actually deliver quality experience. So people loved it, like loved it, as in like people put their sweat, blood and tear to make apps for it, watch faces for it. Like it really took off, so to say, for lack of a better term. And it was successful, but again, market started to adapt and other companies flooded the market. So they got acquired by Fitbit in 2016. And then Fitbit also failed to do much damage, so they got acquired by Google in 2019. Now Google tried with this puppy for a few years, but they realized they got bored. They're like, yeah, it's boring and it's not printing money. So they're like, what's the point? Thankfully, Google does have a good track record of open sourcing projects. They're like, just open source the damn thing. So they open source the Pebble OS. So Google gives up on it, but they make sure that all the effort that was put into the operating system, it's now in public domain. Eric Complex, the original CEO, and he's like, okay, let's create a new company, call it Core Devices. Again, the Pebble name trademark, I think he had dealt with Google that he can use that trademark. So Pebble can be utilized, but again, company name would be different. So Core Devices is the company name, and they're coming back with two devices: watch, that is the watch, and a ring, that is a tiny ring, and with the same philosophy. That's the critical aspect with them. It's not about the devices. It's, you have to understand them. Almost all companies have more or less the same toolkit as Apple. It's just that they do not have the same philosophy. Like, a device will not be good or bad unless it has good philosophy. If it has bad philosophy, it's like, what if this device could do everything under the sun? Yeah, it will be poo-poo. And that's one thing they understood very well from day one. And again, it shows. The ring is like, what if it can do heart detection? What if it can read your mood? What if it can do that? It's like, what if it does not? What if all it does is bare minimum and it's just a voice note recorder? The end. Don't put anything more than that. Just the end. It makes it cheaper, makes it longer lasting, and if you lose it or damage it, it's not painful. So that's the ring part of it. And Pebble Watch, again, same philosophy, only this time they are calling e-paper, not e-ink, e-paper. It has more color, if I'm not mistaken. 200 color shades are available somehow. So again, very long battery life. So normal smartwatch is 2-3 days. This puppy 2-3 weeks. So is there, and they are not trying to do everything under the sun. That's the biggest advantage they have. It's just Watch Plus. It's not Watch Pro Max Ultra. It's just Watch Plus. You can do the watch things and you can do a bit more. And again, you have to understand, making open source project is child's play. Heck, I have open source project. It's just that having enough love from the community to that people actually put their sweat, blood and tears into it. That's the hard part. And Pebble survived on that for 10 years. So there is a lot of interest into this. Like, this is something serious. Again, let that be very clear. I do not think this will become the next big thing, but it can be a very good return to form, like, rather than institutification of everything. What if you had a good option for a smartwatch? This was just smartwatch. It was not greatest thing since sliced bread. Now we come to micro RGB, the worst name ever. Now here's the OLEDs are fundamentally the best technology in terms of display quality, but LCD are still the backbone of almost everything. If you are watching your car, if you are having like a camera, or most things still have LCD, like LCDs are still being mass produced like there is no tomorrow. The reason for that is OLED, they do not last long enough. For example, this OLED TV that I bought, this is LG CX 55-inch. Yeah, it's already having blotchy areas on the bottom and some on top. I'm not sure how much the camera can capture, but yeah, it's pooping the bed, and it's painful for me. It was very expensive when I bought it, like just in the pandemic, if I'm not mistaken. So this was expensive purchase, and only in 5-6 years it's pooping itself. It's like, it's painful. It was brand new, by the way. LG CX, it was just announced that time, and they were like, no, they have 5th generation glass, it would be really good, long lasting. Turns out it was not, or maybe I used it too much. Again, I do use it every day, 2 to 3 hours per day. So maybe, but I'm underwhelmed. Let's just let that be very clear. I'm very underwhelmed with the lifespan. And brightness, while it is amazing, this is, even now in degraded state, it's still mind-bogglingly awesome. I turn off the lights and there is no window. It's amazing. Watching like foundation into this 4K foundation, Dolby Vision, it's like, damn. Like, it is damn. So it is good. It's just not bright enough, not long lasting enough. And again, if you are making it for car or making it for camera equipment, those can be used for decades. Yeah, at that point in time, that's not a desirable thing. Heck, my last camera is a decade old. It's Canon 800D, still working. So it does create an issue where it's like, yeah, OLED is amazing, but that organic part does not last very long, and not to mention you can't drive them very hard. So that's the fundamental issue. So somebody came up with the idea. It's like, hey, LCD have a backlight. You flood the backside of it with white light and then you filter it out. And that creates the paradox. That's why LCD, as in the color filtering display, always have shittier contrast, because it's trying to block light. No blocking would be 100% perfect. So black is not black, it's gray. While OLED, it just turns off. And again, if you make the basically backlight low power enough, it creates an issue. If it's low power, it will not punch through, so color will become dull. So it's always an issue. It's like you have to create a magic filter layer, or some of the pro end display, which are like $5,000, $10,000, they have 2 LCD, because again, compounding interest does give you the OLED level contrast on LCD. You have to compound those things. It's been done for cinema level display, for color correction and all that, but those are bespoke engineered piece. So LCD needed a white display, but somebody figured it idea, what if you had zones rather than just having one floodlight of white? What if you had zones? What if you had like areas that you can turn on or off? And then it's like, okay, we had that area that was like zone. This was the big deal 10 years ago. Then somebody's like, hey, what if that zone was smaller? What if you had small sections, meaning you had more granular control? Cool, awesome. Then it became even smaller, small dots. Now we are at the final stage. What if it was a display itself? As in the back side is display. If you have seen any advertisement display, that is the LED based one. What if you had that on the back end? Now, like, why would you want to do that? Well, that does not have the resolution, but does have brightness, does have color control. Meaning if you have RGB LED on the back side, you can just like, hey, what if instead of giving you 100 watts of white light and then you filtering the best you can do or converting it using quantum dot, what if you get 100 watts of red light and then you filter it? That's perfect. That gives you much more richer color mixing and less heat generation on the panels, because again, you're not burning energy away. So that's how this puppy can be brighter and give you more color accurate. And all the black parts, you have the backlight on those places going kaput off the end. So it does have still some blooming, very mild. Meaning in a dark room, you should be able to tell difference between that and OLED, but it's good enough. Meaning at this point in time, this is really good because you have a TV and then you have a high resolution TV on top of it. So it's really good and you have less energy wasted because again, you're not creating a floodlight of white. You're creating the exact color that color filter will just tweak it. So that's a really good way of getting things done. So what is the output? Output is much brighter TV, meaning in broad sunlight, you should be able to watch it. And color volume is much more richer. It's like, ooh. So that's the good part. And long lifespan, because again, LED does not degrade that often, and LCD, while it does have lifespan issue, it's so long that you don't have to worry about it. It's like, bro, we good, brother, we good. So that is there. So is this the next evolution of technology? No, it's a stopgap technology, meaning it will be here for, I would say 10 to 15, depending how quickly we crack micro LED. Because if you're like, hey, if we have a TV, just low resolution TV at the back end, why not make that TV into the high resolution TV? And that's the dream of micro LED. That's why I said micro RGB is the worst name ever. Micro LED is, what if instead of OLED pixels, you have LED pixels? And those are made out of gallium and they can handle like 10,000 hours of full brightness without any issue. So that's the dream. Every company is working on that. Samsung even, launched product, called it the wall. But here's the deal, those are for rich people. As in this technology right now, as in 2026, is for poor people who can only afford $1 million items. So it's for poor people who are in millionaires. Micro LEDs, that's the next generation thing. Be mindful, Apple is also working on that because it is genuinely great, like genuinely whoa. Like imagine this level of brightness and OLED level contrast. So it is whoa, like whoa. We figured out the physics of it. We figured out the engineering. We just could not figure out the economics of it. As in now we are going back to the engineering. How can we mass produce it? So the first company to crack scalable mass production of that will print some serious money, because all evolution points to that. That would be the final stage of a technology. Emissive pixel itself. OLED is the next best thing. And be mindful, even now, if you get a very latest and greatest OLED technology in a dark room, there is nothing that matches it. It's just like, so until we crack micro LED, this sort of micro RGB would be a good stopgap. Now, would it be cheap enough for common use? I do not think that will happen before 2027. So after 2027, I could see that, because you have to wait for first batch to go out, first batch to earn some miles and hours and all that. And after that, they're like, yeah, we figured it out how to mass produce it, how to service it, all that jazz. And then it's like price should come down, or hope somebody cracks how to mass produce micro LED. Because be mindful, you have to make 3 color LED size of nanometers. Because again, you have to give a lot of blank space. If you do not, it does not look like some people tried it. It's like, what if you made big enough size, same size pixel? It's like, no, it looks ugly. It has to be smaller than the pixel. It looks far more natural. It's like, if you see the wall, it has big pixels and a lot of black area. You want that ratio to be as vast as possible. Tiny pinpoint light and surrounded by matte black. So it's difficult to make micro LED technology proper, but we are making progress. Micro RGB is like a good stopgap solution to give you OLED level contrast and brightness that can satisfy any need, and color volume where you can be like GG. Now we come to another display technology that is desirable, expanding display. Now be mindful, what if you really want a big display and you do not want two display, you want big display. So in those sort of scenarios, it's like, this is the option. Be mindful, Lenovo has announced this, and I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be launched, but maybe, because be mindful, Lenovo has been doing this for 2 times. I'm pretty sure they are ready for it to hit the market, but be mindful, it would be expensive AF, exactly like how expensive the folding phones were. But although I think folding phone never came down in price, people just went up to the price. Like your smartphone went from like, you know, $400-$500 to $1,000 anyway, so 2000 no longer feels stupid. So maybe something similar to that happens here. Is like, yeah, it's $5,000. Normal laptop, because of RAM shortages and memory shortage, becomes that expensive. It's like, eh. But again, as of now, I do not think this will be launched, and even if it will be launched, it would be idiotically expensive. And this I will not consider as a tool. That dual one, it's a tool. This one is more of a edge case, like, you know, niche use case scenario. But there is a lot of interest in this technology. That's what people want. It's just like, you know, how many sci-fi you can think of where you're just like, ta-da, big display. That ta-da, big display technically can be done with OLED. It's just that we haven't figured out how to physically do it. As in, like, we can do it, we can't make it robust enough. So there's a lot of interest in that. And again, the company trying both options. Like, what if you had vertical scrolling? So all your programmer friends would be like, yo, shut up, take money. And it was like, what if you want to do video gaming and movie experiences? Like, yo, horizontal, shut up, take money. So company is giving both options. It's like, that means there is serious internal engineering into this. And again, the fact that they figured out, hey, why hide the rolled screen? And you do not want to roll the screen completely. I mean, like, even if you can do that, it's just putting too much strain. You don't want that. So having this going in a shell, it's logical. So somebody came up with the idea. It's like, what if the shell was transparent? What if you can see through it? What if that becomes the display itself? That's clever. That's like clever, because it was not there in the Mark 1. So this is clever. In this, I'm pretty sure it may be doing the similar thing. You do not want to roll OLEDs. Even if you can, it's just like, why? Engineering wise, like, why? Because again, the engineering to do that precisely, far more difficult than having a elastic band that pulls things together. It's engineering wise, you always want to have the simpler solution. So this is a very unique offering, but I do not think this will hit market anytime soon. But it was unique, and everybody who saw it was like, whoa, what if, whoa. It's like, what if you, whoa. So this was a presentation on basically unique things that was available in CES 2026. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra support. Please leave a comment, because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.